My name is Jackson Bass, and today I'll be demonstrating and explaining the standard military press. So this is a good movement because you get to see joint actions and force production with your eyes. It's not anything you have to guess on. You know where it's coming from. So first I'm going to demonstrate the movement, and then I'm going to break everything down as I'm demonstrating it, and then I'll go into a little bit more about the force and biomechanics, and then I will conclude the video. So first, you're going to step up to the bar. The bar needs to be at shoulder height or slightly below, up to your preference, but not above, because you want to be able to get underneath the bar so as to lift it. Your hands need to be just outside of shoulder width apart, and that's so that when you step up to the bar, they don't go in front of your shoulders. So you're going to step up to the bar. Once you have your hands in place, feet shoulder width apart, you're going to lift with your legs. Notice how my wrists are not flexed in like that, and my back is not arched like that to accommodate for the weight, because I have a good strong core. My abs are flexed, my glutes are flexed, and I have a neutral spine position. I'm not teetering or tottering. I'm not leaning back or forward. So first things first, you're going to go into the first phase, which is the concentric phase. You're going to push up like this. As you're pushing up, you're going to lean your head back ever so slightly so as not to bump yourself in the chin. Once you get to the top, you're going to then pause and then lower back down. Same thing there. Bring the head back and then step forward, touch the rack and re-rack it, step back and you're done. As you're doing the movement, you'll notice that you can feel all of the muscles and joints that are acting. The joints that are acting are the shoulder, the elbow, and then the scapulothoracic joint back here. These are your shoulder blades. You can see these as I'm pushing up, they rotate out and then they come back in. And that's how they rotate. The elbow, it abducts and flexes slightly as you're going up. Excuse me, not the elbow, the shoulder. And then the elbow flexes, or extends, excuse me. The triceps and the lateral and front delts are the main agonists in the movement. They work to push the weight up and then eccentrically on the way down. The antagonists are the biceps and the lats. They control everything, especially on the way down. And then the synergists or helpers are the rotator cuff muscles, the serratus anterior, also down here, and then also the traps if you need them. The plane of motion is the sagittal plane, because we're flexing in the shoulder, we're extending in the triceps. However, the scapula rotate out like that. So in regards to this, the joint is moving in the frontal. There are several anatomical functions used in this movement. The length tension relationship is good because you want the beginning of the motion to not be too stretched or shortened or overly rotated so as to create force effectively. If not, then the deltoids and the triceps will be limited. The stretch shortening cycle is also important because it allows the muscle to keep rebounding and reusing stored energy. Contractility is also important. That's what allows you to create force. In the up phase, then there's extensibility, which allows you to safely lower the weight back down eccentrically. And then finally, elasticity, which is the body's ability to return force. And so that would mostly be in between reps, as you're coming back down and then back up again. And if any of these functions are limited, then that could cause stress on the shoulder or the lower back. For the kinetics, there are both internal and external forces applied. The gravity is pulling down on the bar, and the forces inside your body are pushing up on the bar, and that's how we get motion, because the forces applied internally are greater than the forces applied externally. When you're moving the bar, that creates a moment arm between the shoulder and the elbow, which is the greatest about right here. Excuse me, that was poor form. About right here. Because the moment arm is at its longest, that's when force is the greatest. the ground reaction force is between your feet and the floor, and there's also friction causing you not to slide and be able to be stable. There has to be more force inside your body than outside, than the gravity outside, so that you are able to move. Two useful measures for the kinetics are the torque and the work. The torque is the force multiplied by the length of the moment arm, and the work is the distance multiplied by the force, and then also the power, which is the work divided by the time it takes to do the exercise. So the first one, the torque, that would be this bar being, we're going to go 300 newtons. The bar being 300 newtons, and the moment arm between the shoulder and the elbow, which is 0.25 meters, and then multiplied, you get 75 newton meters. And then for the work, the bar path is 0.6 meters, and the same bar is 300 newtons, and so those two multiplied, you get 180 joules. And then so for power, since the answer we got for work is 180 joules, we take that same 180 joules and we multiply it by, or we divide it by the amount of time it takes to do the movement. So say it takes 2 seconds, then the power output is 90 watts. So the faster you do the movement, the more power you have. The slower you do the movement, the more control you have and the safer it is, but the less power you have. Common inefficiencies, like I said at the beginning, are a rounded back, the elbows flaring too early on the way up. And then to fix these things, you may need to progress or regress the exercise. And so some things you can do to improve your military press would, one, be a landmine press, and you can do that seated, and that goes overhead like so. Or you could do it laying down on a bench, and then if that is too easy, then you can progress one up to a seated dumbbell shoulder press, which is without the bar, so you don't have to worry about your head, and it's free weight, so you get that same work in the shoulders and the triceps as you learn how to stabilize your core before standing up again. You can also progress it if you feel the need to a landmine press. And the closer you get to the axis of rotation on the landmine press, the more progressed it comes. And you can also just add weight to this to progress it as well. In conclusion, the military press is an effective exercise so that you can see the kinetics, biomechanics, anatomy, and force. And if done properly with good technique, it can make you a more powerful athlete. That's all I have for today. Thank you very much. Bye.